The government just quietly signed a law that could force your brother, your nephew, your son into a war, and a lot of people had no idea. Somebody needs to explain what Yuta birthday is to me, and before you say I'm old, I promise you it's bigger than that. And a 29-year-old woman went on vacation to celebrate her sister's birthday, only to come back home in a casket. What turned what was supposed to be such a fun time into a complete tragedy?
Click, clack the keys on my body with news.
Hey everyone, I'm Melissa, a journalist, a storyteller, and content creator. And every week I'm breaking down what's actually happening in culture with the context the headlines skip. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell. I drop this every week and I do not want you to miss out. And if you've been rocking with me, please make sure to like and share this video so that more people can see it as we continue to grow. And as always, I like to keep it simple. The glasses are from Zenny, the skin is Supergoop Glow Screen in Sunset, and the lips are from Ulla Henriksen. Everything is linked below and tagged in the video. So let's get into it. Family and friends are mourning the loss of a 29-year-old woman from Miami who went on vacation and never made it back home alive. Denisha Delancy went to Sint Maarten with her sister and a friend to celebrate her sister's birthday. It was their first time on the island and they were just trying to have a good time. But apparently they met a man at the club who was friendly, and when it came time to leave, Denisha decided to stay with the man while her sister and friend went back to their Airbnb, only for hours later for them to find out the man that they met at the club had been gunned down, and Denisha just happened to be with him. Investigators believe the man, now identified as Quincy Damon Sylvester, a businessman from Trinidad, was the intended target, and Denisha was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And while the story is extremely unfortunate, it brought up a lot of conversation about safety when it comes to traveling, especially for women. Now, I've always known that when you're with a group, whether it's on vacation, at an event, a party, whatever, that you should always try to stick together. But in the same breath, people seem to forget that you can stick together all you want, do all the right things, and bad shit can still happen. Now, as a woman who travels a lot solo, with friends, with family, I know what it's like to meet somebody and then tend to let your guard down a little bit, especially if they're being friendly with you. In fact, that's how I've met some of my most best friends around the world. So while I understand some people have been bringing up that she should have just never been left by herself, even as a grown woman, we have to acknowledge that that's not the problem at all. The problem is that this crime even happened in the first place, and she was an innocent person just trying to have fun, which any normal person would do on vacation as well. Rest in peace, Denisha. You deserve to come home. So a lot of people have been talking about the draft, and I just want to talk about it a little bit and make sure there's no confusion here, because the draft hasn't been reinstated, but it's a lot closer than a lot of people realize. So back in December, President Trump signed the National Defense Authorization Act, that's the annual defense spending bill, into law. Tucked inside that bill was a provision that starting this December, men between the ages of 18 and 26 will be automatically registered for the Selective Service, meaning they don't have to sign up for themselves anymore. The government will just do it based on federal data. Now, automatic registration is not an active draft, but here's why people are paying attention right now. The U.S. is currently in a conflict with Iran, and the Trump administration has not ruled out putting troops on the ground, so people are connecting the dots. And here's where I stand on this. I don't think anybody, like absolute anybody, should be forced into war. I don't care what the political justification is. Forcing someone to serve takes away their fundamental right to choose how they want to live their life. And historically, we already know who ends up on the front lines during a draft, and it's not the children of the people who are making these decisions. And this was all slipped into a bill quietly with bipartisan support, which means this wasn't even a partisan fight. Both sides agreed on this. And most people had no idea what was happening until last week when it started circulating on social media. And that's the part that really gets me, not just the law, but how it got there quietly while we were all looking somewhere else. If you have a son, a brother, a nephew, a partner who's between the ages of 18 and 26, this is definitely something they need to know. And we all need to be paying attention to what happens next. Okay, so if you've been on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or any form of social media, you've probably seen the phrase "you the birthday" at least somewhere once. And if you're anything like me, a millennial who thought she was somewhat hip, you're probably just as confused and wondering what this all means. So here's what I'm gathering. It comes from a rapper named Honcho and the song called Birthday Girl. And apparently, "you the birthday" means you're the center of attention. So it can be a compliment like "you the birthday," like you showed up, you look good. Or it can also be a complete diss like "you the birthday," as in like you're doing way too much right now. And I have seen millennials on the internet like trying to explain this to each other as if we're in a study group. Meanwhile, Gen Z is looking at us like we're the grandparents. But here's the thing, when you really think about it, every generation does this. Our parents thought our slang was the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard, because I know I grew up saying things that had adults looking at me sideways, and now here I am, the adult, looking at them sideways. It's really a cycle that never stops. The only difference now is that slang moves at the same speed as the internet. So by the time you already figure out what something means, it's over and on to the next one. And to be honest, I'm not even really mad about it. I know there's a lot of people like myself and my age that look at everything like confused and they're like, this is stupid. But me, I would rather just figure it out and keep up instead of being left behind, as I've seen happen to so many of my own elders when things like the internet and smartphones came up. They thought it was stupid too, and now it's the way of the world. So am I you the birthday for trying to explain all this? Probably, but here we are. All right, guys, so that was the Baddie with News recap. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Remember, if you're not already, please subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, please remember to like and share it with others as well. Bye.
Click, clack the keys, I'm a Baddie with news.